it's going to be a classic matchup between the big serve and volley of Edberg and the great returning powers of Brad Gilbert.
Seats, please. Quiet, please. Thank you.
Brad Gilbert plays. I just have a feeling, Mary, that as well as Stefan Edberg plays, as you look at Richard Kaufman from Seattle, who's in the chair for today's match, I just think he's confident, and I think he's riding sort of a wave of confidence. So if it's going to be Edberg, it probably will be today. First point.
Out.
15 love.
Edberg's least favorite surface is clay. He's only ever won one tournament there, and he didn't have a clay court season, good one this year. But boy, on other surfaces, Freddie's been super.
Yes, the clay courts are not his favourites, but he does reasonably well there. Lost early in the French, of course, but the carpet indoors on hard courts, and of course grass for
15, 30.
Wins there, and they've been Grand Slam titles. Of course, not a lot of tournaments played on grass, as Brad Gilbert questions his call. Looked as though it came off the line from our vantage point here. Those 4 tournaments on grass that he won, 2 Wimbledons, 2 Australians. You can't do much better than that.
Let's see what this argument's about, Mary.
I mean, Gilbert really was just waiting on a call there.
From our vantage point here, he put the ball down there 6 inches behind the line, but I thought it came off the line because he really had to hurry that swing a little bit, and he gets prepared very early, Brad Gilbert, for anything.
15-30, first game.
30 all.
What Gilbert's been struggling with a little bit this year, the difference maybe from last year's, doesn't have the confidence on the big points that this man, Stefan Edberg, has earned in winning Wimbledon and the LA tournament last week.
He's taking a week off next week, which I think is smart. You don't want to just wear yourself out before the Open.
Watch the preparation here. 3/4 court approach, and not good enough from Gilbert, and a lot of room there for Edberg, and just a beautiful motion, very free swinging motion on that backhand.
He's stealing it long. So both have served in the first game, and the #1 player in the world, an out-top seed here, is ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2 reporters, MCIs here on tournament side, giving away 3 long-distance phone calls to anywhere in the world. Their route located on the stadium east side. And will Gary Brewer please report to the elbow saver biomechanism move on the stadium east side. Gary Brewer, you're the winner of a Prince racket at the elbow saver biomechanism move on the stadium east side.
I tell you, you guys are really taking it hard down there on the truck today.
Time.
Man from Oakland, California, Brad Gilbert has been successful on all surfaces, but he likes hard courts and indoor carpets by far the best. It suits his game. 13 tackles on hard courts, and then followed by carpet. Never won on grass or indeed clay. Come the clay court season, he pretty much gives it a miss, not all the time, but he plays very few clay court tournaments. And it's interesting that because he's got a kind of defensive game.
Return a lot better though on something a little quicker like the hard court surface, the deco type surface, and that by far is his best surface.
But a good barometer of how well Gilbert is returning is where Edberg is striking the ball on his first volley. If it's shoulder height like that first one, then Gilbert's going to lose this match. If he can get it down to Edberg's feet, then he is in fact winning the battle because he can pass very well, Gilbert, if he can draw a defensive first volley.
Find what we call the zone, the hitting zone on Edberg's serve. It was something that Gomez couldn't find the other day. By that, I mean you must move either a couple of feet inside the baseline or maybe behind it, but you've got to get that kick serve before it gets up too high, and you've got to get it in your favorite comfortable zone, around about between the waist and the chest, around about hip high, a little higher. That's where Gilbert plays his best stuff from.
And that's where he'll go to, but he'll step in. He won't go back on this Edberg serve unless he gets in real trouble. He'll try to take it early and get rid of some of that spin. Right there. That was his first no return, wasn't it? That's what set up the pass.
30-15.
I mentioned he likes a target to hit at, and he gets the one here. Look at the way he plants that front foot and stays down and through the ball until the shot's finished.
Sideways onto big shoulder turn. Good lesson. 30-15, second game, 1 game to love Edberg.
Huge difference here. He gets into the hitting zone. Look where he strikes this one. Just around about chest height. Keeps it down low. Doesn't try to hit outright winners, but it sets up the passing shot because Edberg's got to make a pretty defensive volley. Very difficult to make aggressive volleys off your shoelaces.
That's the antidote, isn't it? The serve, and when he misses and doesn't get a perfect return of serve, and Edberg gets in so close to the net, it presents him with a pretty easy volley. 130,000 people will show up here this week for this tournament, over 130 actually. This stadium can take 10,350, and it is jammed today for the final. Game point. Game to Edberg. 2 games to love for a set.
Edberg's won their last 2 previous finals. And Gilbert's won the last 2 previous finals against Edberg. In '86 in Memphis he beat him, and then in this tournament last year. Stefan Edberg, scouting report, of course, he's been serving and volleying so well all week in the kick serve. That allows him to get in right on top of the net. We've seen that in the opening service game. Occasional lapse on the forehand, and we say that it's a bad forehand. It's just that the backhand is a better produced shot, and he makes more errors off that forehand side, and Brad Gilbert is hoping to be able to work the forehand over a little bit today. Must be a little bit of a breeze down there, because the rule of thumb, particularly at this level, any level, if you get that lob over your opponent's head, get into the aggressive position, get into the net, because the best they can do is throw up a defensive lob. Gilbert would have been able to make a pretty good volley there had he been in the net position.
$15-30.
Kings Island is the outskirts of Cincinnati. Actually, Kings Island is about as close to Dayton as it is to downtown Cincinnati. Not that far from either one.
Edberg has beaten Gilbert 2 times this year, and both times he's won the first set easily 6-1. I think it takes a while for Gilbert to get used to Edberg's serve especially. But Edberg just showed in that last point something that Gilbert doesn't have and could really use against Stefan, and that's a good lob. There's one shot missing in Gilbert's game, it's that.
Tell you what, you don't see Edberg hit too many forehand topspin lobs either because of the grip that he has. He's much more confident with that shot off the backhand side. He can hit with more forehand and more topspin off the backhand side than the forehand.
And he kind of chicken winged it over him.
Yeah, but he's right there. See, he's got a good lead. He covers the net so well, and he's showing us a confidence. He has 3 games to love with 2 breaks in the first set.
We'll lead 3 love.
Medical Center in Cincinnati is the crown beneficiary of the 3-way ATP Tennis Championship. There is your former medical specialists across the country ranked children's hospitals that are one of the top hospitals in the U.S. Thank you for your support of this nationally recognized hospital for children.
Time.
Packed house here for today's final, and we thought we'd show you a scouting report on Brad Gilbert. Consistency off the ground, and he likes a target on the passing shots. We've only seen a couple of those, but I'm sure we'll see some more. He's rather a slow starter, and the weakness, of course, is that second serve. He's not going to serve and volley too often on that, but he knows that Stefan Edberg's not a chip and charge specialist off the return to serve, so it will allow Gilbert to get into the points. His quarterfinal match against Lazic, he lost the first set 6-2 and came back to win it 7-5 in the third, so a slow starter, and he's yet to get on the board.
Love 15.
It's Boris Becker, isn't it, who says about playing against him that he kind of wears you down. When you make your move on Gilbert, you've got to do it and put him away soon, because he'll get to you. Edberg so far has done that. 3 games to love 15.
Love 30.
It's like he's serving sun into the sun, Mary, or is it far enough around now to where it's probably not affecting his touch?
He might be getting that a little bit.
Love 30. First double. Look again at the titles won by Brad Gilbert on different surfaces. This is Gilbert ahead in this game 15-30.
Ball toss and cannot get it in the right spot. That's 2 points in a row, and the good rule of thumb there is if you throw it up and it's not in the right spot, catch it just as Edberg does. Don't try and hit it.
Again, you can see the nice, easy volleys for Edberg.
30 all.
It's precision, isn't it? And Gilbert has got to hit the ball perfectly and get it low, as you all have both said. And it's easy to say that. It's not that easy to do, because if you miss it slightly, it presents an easy volley for Edberg.
Chang's been about the only one this week that has threatened Edberg on serve.
The lob is long. This is game point for
40-30.
Chang threatened him is because of the two-hander. He's able to move in and take that ball early before it gets much of a kick on it. Both Gomez and Gilbert have elected to stay back. And the ball is just getting up too high.
game point. Manny looking at turn 29 this week.
That one around, he jumped up to make contact with that, and of course it sets up the passing shot. You can see Edberg, he's guessing back down the backhand line, and Gilbert is able to thread the needle. A bit of a jump. That one just made it into the corner.
And Gilbert celebrated his birthday. He turned 29. Edberg turned 1. Now number 1 in the world.
Advantage Edberg.
In the last 2 meetings, Edberg has won the first set 6-1, and he's won both matches, so that's not a good omen at this stage for Brad Gilbert. And both matches in straight sets after winning an easy first set. But on the other hand, Gilbert has beaten Edberg in the last 2 finals that they've played.
Thinking, well, I can hit this thing for the winner.
Edberg leads 4-1.
Let it go, and he'll probably go along. He did the latter of the 2, and he has a 4-game to love lead in the first set. Tony Pickard is his coach.
And Tony remembers last year that Stefan Edberg was down 4-11 in the first set of this final. It was a remarkable final, 7-6 in the third, finally won by Edberg. They both served for it. They both had match points.
And then also next to him is Stefan.
15-1.
Gilbert, of course, won that one last year. 7-5 in the tiebreaker in the third. But Edberg had won more points in the whole match. 7 more. That's the first error I've seen him make today.
He's really terrific
30 love
at this point, playing so confidently.
Played a smart point there. He just rolled the forehand, forcing Gilbert to half volley. And when you half volley, you've got to make the shot up. And like a fast court player, Edberg moved into position in the center of the court, but just missed the volley.
Yeah.
30-15.
Edberg playing with a lot of purpose here. He doesn't try to do much with his forehand, gets it down the line and anticipates the cross-court shot. Gilbert didn't do a lot with the volley, and that allows him just to move in and forward and play that pretty slice backhand, and Gilbert wasn't within about 8 feet of that shot.
They only ever use this 10,000 and then some seat stadium for tennis. They only use it really for this week of the year. Big investment for just 1 week's use, although they are looking to try to get a women's event. That'll give them something else to showcase here.
Game Gilbert.
Gilbert gets himself on the board, but he's down behind 2 serve breaks, 4 games to 1. As you look at the next score.
Power Light Company, the Presidential and Third Way, Food and Drug, and Premier
Cliff.
Yeah, what's his name? Tom
And his wife, Georgia.
Time.
That's how things stand as of now on the IBM ATP Tour. Stefan Edberg has won more money than anyone else by
Seats,
quite a long way,
please.
as you can see, followed by Lindell. Andres Gomez won the French. Boris Becker, who has had a good year. Not as good as he would have liked, but a good year.
Quiet, please.
Andre Agassi is the number 5, and then Ivan Izovic, who won in Germany just a couple of weeks ago here on ESPN. Sanchez, Muster, and then Brad Gilbert at number 9 with $357,000, followed by Pete Sampras, the man who won in Philadelphia. Also here on ESPN. 4-1, Edberg serving.
15 love.
Shivington is Brad Gilbert's coach, and he put a few problems on his hands at this point in the match. He has seen his man work his way back into 1,000 matches.
30-15.
Another good delivery there.
40-15.
Edberg, you could see the way that one jumped up just too high for Gilbert to control. He tried to snap the wrist and get over the top of it. And Bradley's talking to himself a lot at the moment.
Game Edberg.
This event
leads
benefits the
5-1.
largest pediatric medical center in the United States, the Children's Hospital's Medical Center. They've done some outstanding work and have got close to $2 million over the years from this tournament and the supporters of it. Artificial blood was developed here at the heart lung machine. Among other things, 1-5.
Love 15.
Yeah, the fans are starting to talk to Brad. He's been talking to himself. Now they're talking to him as well, telling him, get going, get in this set, get in this match.
Love 30.
And he missed it wide.
We said at the start of the match, if Gilbert doesn't get first serves in, he starts behind the 8 ball as his match record, his earnings for the year. But he hasn't got a lot of first serves in, and Edberg hasn't really tried to attack the second serve too much, but he starts it off by getting the returner serve or the forehand into the right position at Gilbert's end of the court and starts to take charge of the point. That makes it a little more difficult for Gilbert.
15-30.
First serve in there, set up the forehand approach shot for him. Edberg didn't miss by much though. This match now has
15-40.
It's been all Stefan Edberg so far.
Game, first set.
It's scary, isn't it? When Edberg is playing well, he just doesn't make mistakes. He's won the first set 6-1.
And easy pair of shoes and Marquis all week.
Time to be at the International from Grassy Pines Golf Club.
Seats, please.
Live here on ESPN starting at 5 p.m. on Thursday and again on Friday. They have an interesting point system there for the International. If you followed it over the years, 8 points for a double eagle, 5 for an eagle, 2 for a birdie. So it really helps you to attack the course. It's kind
Seats,
of like
please.
Let's see, 2 points for a break a serve or something like that.
Thank you.
Interesting to try and experiment with different ways to score in tennis as well. I'd like to see more of that. Edberg has won the first set 6 games to 1. This is the first game, second set.
Foot fault there. Every match this week we've had a couple of those from Stefan Edberg. What's happened in the first set.
15 left.
Percentage is pretty close, but the winners, and most of them come from Edberg's volleying position. And Brad Gilbert's come up with about 4 winning passing shots, but it's the second serve. He hasn't got too many first serves going for him. The second serve's been rather weak, and Edberg's taken advantage of that. 26 minutes the first set took, and Gilbert had his serve broken on 3 occasions.
Game point for the #1 player in the world in the first game of the second. Make that the second game. Gilbert has 1-0.
But at the net is if it hits the tape and bobbles over Edberg's head. Because look how well he's tracking every single shot that Gilbert throws at him.
dominated throughout the week on his serve. We mentioned against Gomez, he lost 6 points on serve in the first set, 5 in the second set. In the first set here against Gilbert, he lost only 6 points on that delivery in the second. He's going to let that one go, man. He looked as though he was going to start out, and then thought, well, no, we're going to have a crack at it.
And he took it so late, he couldn't control it.
First game.
One game allowed in the second set for Edberg. We'll be back. So you can come back with that?
Unbelievable.
Now
I get 12 picks to pick one guy. Now, I just want to make a commitment here. I was only going to just throw 12 in a bag.
I want you guys to feel free to tell me who cannot win.
Time. Seats, please.
My duty does is the picks for US Open. You know, when we go into the French Championships, we said, well, so-and-so cannot win it. Everybody cannot win it. Well, I think all of these guys have got a shot at winning it. And by the way, who is not on that list? John McEnroe. He could win it. Jimmy Connors.
So let's add some more people to the...
Quiet, please.
Jeez, Cliffy. It would be a shorter list if you named who couldn't win the US Open.
Give us a couple of picks, though. There's 12 guys, and the only way to pick 12 guys out of chance. And the French, you know, there are a lot of guys out of chance there, too.
I think Edberg's going to win it.
What about all these other players? Anybody else to
Love 15.
that you think can win?
Look, the point of that is this, in my opinion. What is so exciting about men's tennis now is the depth of the sport. You know, it was just 2 years ago when you had really 3 or 4 guys only who could win a major championship. Those days are history, and it's great.
Unbelievable. 12 picks. Richard Kaufman could have that many picks and probably get one.
See what happened here is Gilbert thought he heard a let on his first serve in Lefty's court. And so he sort of didn't play the ball. There was a clean winner off of Edberg's return anyway. That's why he's been moaning. Anyway, he lost that point and lost that fight with Richard Kaufman.
It's a tough way to get in a match for Brad Gilbert. It's the only way he knows how. He's anticipated this one. Not a spectacular volley from Edberg. Look at the preparation. The racket's ready, and he gets to it on the run and threads it down the line. Good foot speed.
Return serve is good. Gilbert not been able to reach it.
15-30.
Gilbert's going to have to hope that this man Edberg calms down a little bit and that some of these shots that Edberg's hitting start falling wide or long or into the net, but right now they're not.
6 games to 1 first set for Edberg. 1 game to love Edberg, and it's now 15-30.
Oh.
15-40.
Well, if Edberg converts on one of these next 2 points, only 34 minutes have elapsed in this match so far. It will be the shortest men's singles final in the ATP Tour of this year. Edberg has not converted. He has broken every time he's had a chance. Gilbert hasn't had a shot. And nor, by the way, did Gomez yesterday for the match.
Tough thing for Gilbert. He's only won 8 points on his own serve in the match.
Game Edberg.
Doesn't help things.
You know he's feeling bad about that. Double fault and a break of serve for Stefan Edberg.
leads 2-0.
Too low for the top seed.
Yeah, we were talking about how Gilbert is a good hardcore player, and in fact he is. He's having a very tough day, largely because of his opponent. His coach, Tom Shivington, and Tom's wife, George, are watching on, and there's not a lot to... I mean, you can really only stare at one half of the court in this match, and that's Stefan Edberg. One thing I must say is that the U.S. Open, because the surface is so fair and so true, any type surface really can play. That's a miss. One of the very few errors Stefan Edberg has made. Any type of surface, any type of style can win on a hard court, which is why no one ducks it. There are plenty of guys who don't play the French Open, and there are even more who skipped Wimbledon. They bailed out, didn't even show up at Wimbledon this year. Everyone shows up at the U.S. Open. And I'm not agreeing with you, Cliff, because you know I would never do that. But it is a fact that this hard court makes more people capable of winning.
15-all.
And that's why I think the U.S. Open time and again gets the biggest draws. They're so deep, in fact, that this man, Brad Gilbert, thinks that 32 men should be seated at the U.S. Open.
I don't agree with that.
No, me neither, but that's how good he thinks the fields are time and again at the Open.
Swedes are not having a tough year, as you know, but they have been dominant in this championship. Back in 83 and 84, Wielander won it. Again in 86, Wielander was in the final in 85, and you see the rest of it. Edberg in 2 finals here, and he won it in 87. So this is his 4th final in a row.
See that serve jump.
48-15.
His arm in the air to show you how high the serve did get up. He just had no chance of reaching that. Need a step ladder.
Game Edberg.
Stefan Edberg is making a lot of this thing.
Edberg leads 3-love.
Don't show it to him until we come out of the break. Don't show it to him until we come out of the break.
Time.
See, this is Cliff's others. This is the Republican guys in the truck had with me, and Marion Fred, obviously, giving him some names.
Listen, I've got a big shot at it, I'll tell you that.
Billy Bellahima, by the way, maybe will have a shot. How do you feel then if you won the thing?
And if Dr. Leo Level makes it through the 2 weeks, I'll be surprised. Alan King, he'll be out there every day, but Cliffy, I can't believe you got that many picks.
15 left.
That's why we do it, Cliffy. We love you.
It is one. I'm not sure Brad Gilbert loves Edberg at the moment. He's in all kinds of trouble. 15 love, but he's down 3 games to love in 1 set.
30 love.
This is the first time in the match that Gilbert's been ahead 30 love on his serve.
40 left.
For Gilbert, he wants to try to at least get one game behind his name in the second set. He has a chance, 2 game points there.
We mentioned Gilbert's second serve at times gets a little short, and Edberg really doesn't chip and charge or try and come in after the return on the second serve. That time he walked around and slapped a big forehand. And he's way behind the baseline. On that second serve, the last point he moved in and slapped a big forehand, so confidence can do wonders for you.
Gilbert. How do you like that? Last year when Gilbert was full of confidence, when he was going for it,
Edberg leads
that second serve of his didn't fall short the way it does at times this year. He just had that little, it's just a question of attitude. You know, you swing through the ball easier.
3 games to 1, the second set for Edberg. He'll serve. He won the first 6-1.
Left.
The match that made the most positive impression on me this year, Fred, that Edberg played was the final of the Australian. He lost it, but he wouldn't have if he hadn't been injured. He was going to beat Lendl that day. It was just
30-15.
Gilbert just can't get anything going his way today. Passing shots are just missing. Just a step slow on getting to his volleys. Tough day at the office.
In the stand for
40-15.
Edberg has been in more often than Gilbert, as you can tell, and has been more successful when he's come in. Trying to find some kind of form, but Edberg is playing just too well. 6-1.
Edberg leads 4-1.
It's the Astros at home tonight against the Padres. Sunday Night Baseball live here at 8 o'clock Eastern Time on ESPN. So come back and join us for that, please. You are watching live coverage now of the Thriftway ATP Championship from the suburbs of Cincinnati, Ohio. Jack Nicklaus Sports Center. This is Brad Gilbert serving to Stefan Edberg. He's trailing 1-4. Edberg and Lindell going into this week to 29.05 against 29.95, but Edberg has gained already 281, and that might go up. Bottom line is that he will have 3,111 against the number for Lindell.
Gilbert missed that volley. The reason he missed the volley was because of the accuracy of the passing shot. That backhand just skimmed over the net, 2 or 3 inches over the net, and made it a very difficult volley. He didn't look that tough from there, but he was coming with the pace that Edberg hit that backhand. It's a tough volley to make.
Been with us all week. Let me tell you about a few interesting results from the week. Aaron Crickstein of USA lost to Jacob Plasek before Brad Gilbert beat him. John McEnroe lost to Scott Davis on Thursday night in 3 sets. Andre Agassi the same day losing to Fromberg of Australia. 2 break points for a second second set.
You know things are bad when Gilbert tries to be at the net to win these points. You know, he's trying to beat Edberg at his own game. And that's surely not going to happen.
Very interesting result. Jim Courier over Jay Berger quite easily. 3rd round.
And you see how tough Stefan Edberg can be in a hard court. Imagine what it's like trying to beat this guy on grass, where it's so difficult to try to change pace on that surface.
Leads 5-1.
Maybe he could have played better, of course, but I don't know that he could have done a heck of a lot to make an impression on Edberg.
Quiet, please.
For the championship, Edberg serves.
Few bright spots of this day for Brad Gilbert. Good return, and again, that's the shot that he likes to play. Hasn't had a chance to make too many of them because Edberg has absolutely dominated this match on serve. 6 points he dropped on serve in the first set, and to this point, 5 points in the second set.
And this is against a very, very tough returner of serve.
15-all. If you're watching this match tonight on
15-30.
Brad Gilbert, you should have done this, you should have done that different in the match.
Well, he should have got a lot more first serves in, I think, and the second serve has caused him problems. But there hasn't been much he can do on Edberg's serve. You know, when you're serving that well, as Edberg has been this week, it doesn't matter what's up the other end. The fellow that's handled it better all week has been Chang, and he, because I believe, because of the two-hander, he can get in and stand over the top of it. Gomez was not able to do much with it, and Gilbert hasn't been successful. not. But Chang, I think, has the answer to the way the game is played today. The players like to return serve behind the baseline. They don't really get in and take the ball on the rise on the serve. And it's really only the two-handers, not too many other fellas around do that. McEnroe, of course, does it. Only the Comp can do it.
This is championship point in the 51st minute of this match.
What
an effort by the new world's #1 player, Stefan Edberg. Edberg Gilbert easily took started 6-1, 6-1. What can you say about it?
Well, what a great match from Stefan Edberg. He came into this tournament, the first match he played against the big tall fellow from Czechoslovakia. He had problems. He was down 4-3 and a couple of break points in the first set. Milan Schreiber, of course, and you need a little bit of luck to bring you through, and he got that in the first round, and from then on, he hasn't faltered at all. Cliff, and it's been the big serve that's been able to get him there, but a complete match player, and whether he's been off the ground or on the serve, he's been too good this week.
What does this mean for him as far as the US Open is concerned? For the guy, he's not going to play another major until the US Open, so he comes off an easy win like this, and he's a tournament. Obviously, it helps him. How much? Is he a favorite now?
Well, I think it's nice that you added him to your out of 11. Of course, he's in your top 12. You think he's got a chance to win it, but I think he's got to go in as one of the favorites in there. I think there's only about 4 guys in there that have really got a big chance of winning the US Open, and this man certainly must be one of them. Brad Gilbert's had a good week. He's got to be pretty confident going in. The next week he goes and plays in New Haven and then gets ready, and Edberg has that week off. So we look forward to seeing them both at the US Open, and I think they'll both perform pretty well.
The winner of the Thriftway ATP Championship for 1990, very easily, the man that you're looking at, the quiet, the calm one, Stefan Edberg of Sweden. Well done.
Hello. What's good? I don't know. Point one.
It really has been a great championship here in Cincinnati. It was not a great final though. Our winner, easily Edberg, 6-1, 6-1 over Gilbert, is with Mary Carrillo.
Thanks. Congratulations, Stefan. How does it feel on a day like that when you're just bulletproof?
Well, it feels great because today I felt nothing could go wrong. I felt I could do almost whatever I wanted on the court, and I felt that I had a lot of time today. Obviously, because Brad didn't play very well today, he looked a little bit slow to me, and you know, when I get the time, it's a lot easier to play.
You never looked rushed at all. Were you surprised that Gilbert didn't change things up on you? He's famous for staying in a match.
Yeah, I think the main thing is, you know, when you play Brad, is not to let him in the match. And you know, I said to myself before I went there, I wanted to get a good start, get ahead of him, because you know, then it's a little bit easier to play. Because if you play sort of 2-all, 3-all, 4-all, then it's a lot tougher.
You look very much like the #1 player in the world. Do you feel like you're #1 in the world?
At the moment, yes. Yes, I do, because I've been playing very good tennis the last sort of month and a half. Won 3 tournaments in a row, which I've never done before. So I feel good within myself, and I'm feeling good when I'm out on the court.
A lot of people assumed that after Yvonne Lendl, it was going to be Boris Becker who would be the next number one. Did you ever have a sense of that? Are you a little surprised that it's you instead of Becker at the number one spot?
Well, I thought after last year, a lot of people thought he would be. You know, I knew that I wasn't far behind him. We sort of been competing a little bit against each other on the rankings, and I got a good golden opportunity now after winning Wimbledon, beating Boris in the final, and I really thought now maybe it's my time, and so it is at the moment.
It sure is. Stefan, congratulations. Back to you, Cliffy.
Thank you very much, Mary. Paul Flory is the tournament director of this, which is one of the most successful events on the ATP Tour. He will also be the master of ceremonies for the presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Paul Flory, your tournament director. Welcome to this ceremony. I'd like to first of all congratulate our finalists. They've had a great week of tennis here. They've given us some really great moments in great shots, and I want to thank them very much. It's been a great week of tennis this year with our new stadium, with our new place on the ATP Tour, and with our great draw. I would like to thank our sponsors, our wonderful volunteers, and you, the fans. Without all of you, this would not have been possible. Joining me at this ceremony are George Castrucci, President of the Great American Communications Company, Patricia Wolpert, Regional Manager of IBM, Carl Linder III, President of Great American Insurance Companies, Dick Linder, President of Thriftway Food and Drugs, J. Wayne Richmond, Commissioner of North American Tournaments on the ATP Tour, and finally, William Keating, President and Publisher of the Cincinnati Enquirer. To present the finalists' check and trophy is Carl Linder III of Great American Insurance Companies.
Thank you, Paul. On behalf of the Great American Insurance Companies, I'm proud to present this check for $89,600 to this year's runner-up of the Thriftway ATP Championship presented by Great American Insurance Company. Congratulations, Brad.
That applause took longer than the match. I'd like to thank Paul Flory and his staff for running an unbelievable tournament. I'd like to thank ATP and IBM, Thriftway, and all the volunteers who make this tournament possible. And also the fans. You guys turned out all week from the first day to the last day. I wish I could have put up a little better match today, but I think Stefan showed why he's playing #1 tennis in the world right now. It was a pleasure for me to play here, and I'll be back next year. Thank you.
To present the winner's trophy, the winner's check, and our cup is Dick Linder, President of Thriftway Food and Drugs. Dick. Thank you, Paul. On behalf of Thriftway and their employees, it's my pleasure to present a check in the amount of $170,200 to this year's winner of the Thriftway ATP Championship, Stefan Edberg. to present the Thriftway Championship Cup to #1 player in the world, Stefan Edberg.
First of all, I would like to say this is always going to be a very, very special week for me in my entire life, I think, because of a couple of reasons. Because I won here today playing very good tennis, and because I've achieved the #1 spot in the world, which, you know, has been a target of mine. It's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of people behind it, and I'd like to thank Annette, my girlfriend, for all the support, and Tony, my coach, of course. And I also would like to thank all the sponsors, IBM, the ATP Tour, Thriftway, the great American insurance company, and I also would like to wish all the best for the Children's Hospital. And also would like to thank Paul Flory, the tournament director, and all the people working in this tournament. I think you got a great event here. I love playing here. I always play good tennis here, and I'd love to come back once again. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we may need to rename this tournament, since 6 out of the last 12 years it's been won by someone from Sweden. So we may need to call it the Swedish Open. But we've had some great champions, and Stefan and Brad Gilbert are two of those. This concludes our singles final ceremony. Please stick around for some wonderful doubles which are about to take place. Thank you.
Well done, Paul Flory. Another outstanding championship here, the Thriftway ATP Championship in the environs of Cincinnati. It is really one of the great championships. It was not, however, a great final. Stefan Edberg easily over Brad Gilbert, who could only muster 2 games in the match. We'll be back with more in a moment.